Adrenaline is... How many stairs? This is probably a really big... Oh, wow, look at that. Holy shit.
何を企む？お前たち初めてじゃないな。なるほど。さては。再現したな、この私を。 お 「
見たことないし。 見たことないし。
やっちゃうよ。危ないですよ。
With the way things been going, no, you can't bring him back.
You can't bring him back. So what's
For
wrong
the things he said and the things that they put out there about trying to trade him.
JB is I ain't gonna say he's a sensitive person, but he definitely takes offense to certain things.
So Brad Stevens walked up to a podium on Tuesday night right after the NBA draft, and a reporter asked him the simplest question in the world. Is Jaylen Brown gonna be on the Boston Celtics next year? And the president of basketball operations for the Boston Celtics, the guy whose entire job is to know that answer, looked at the room and basically told everybody he doesn't know. But buried in that calm little non-answer was one word that should make every Celtics fan do a spit take. I'm gonna play you that clip in a second so you can hear it for yourself. But once you catch that word, you can't unhear it. Because here's where we are, guys. 2 weeks ago, Jaylen Brown was coming off the best season of his life.
It was my favorite year of my basketball career.
Yeah, he did get into a questionable beef with Stephen A. Smith after the season concluded, but that aside, the man had career highs across the board. He dragged a Boston team that everybody, and I mean everybody, penciled in for a gap year all the way to a number 2 seed, with Jason Tatum in a suit on the bench for most of it. And I'm not the only one who caught it. Brian Whitmore said the exact same thing. Brad Stevens did not say he wasn't trading Jaylen Brown. He didn't deny it, and in Wendy's words, Stevens obviously doesn't think that this team is good enough right now. So when the president won't deny it and the league's top insider says that the boss thinks that this roster isn't good enough, well, it's the result that you get.
He said a lot of really nice things about Jaylen. He did not say he wasn't trading him. The way you stop it is by saying, I'm not trading him. He didn't say that. I'm not necessarily in favor of breaking him up. He has come out and said that he didn't think the Celtics were good enough.
And right now, that same Jaylen Brown is the single most available star in the NBA, put on the table by his own team. And there's a real chance he's pulling a different jersey over his head before the summer's done. So how do you go from there to here career in 14 days. Well, that's what this video is about. But first, let me show you this clip.
You never know whether that run ends 10 years from now when he retires or before.
Did you hear when he said or before? A team president asked point blank if his guy is staying. And instead of course he is, instead of, oh, he's not going anywhere, he tells you that the run might end before Jalen retires. That's not a denial. That's a man that's leaving the door wide open. And the whole league just watched him crack open this door. So before we get to the content, we are giving away copies of Grand Theft Auto 6, the $100 edition. All you have to do to enter is subscribe, turn on our notifications, and we're also giving away copies to people that follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. Just let me know what console you want in the comment section down below. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Boston Celtics just spent 2 weeks trying to trade Jaylen Brown for Giannis Antetokounmpo. It fell apart, and now the entire league smells blood in the water. But to understand how we got here, we got to go all the way back to where this story started, because the details here really matter. So, for some reason, Boston wanted Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they wanted him bad. And to get a player making around $58 million, the math only works one way. You gotta send the giant contract back. So the Celtics built their entire pitch around the one guy who fit, Jaylen Brown. The reported offer was Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. That was the swing. Brown for the Greek Freak. And Milwaukee said no. And here's the part that stings if you're a Celtics fan. They didn't just say no, they said no and took a completely different offer, arguably a worse package than somebody else. The Miami Heat won the Giannis sweepstakes with the haul built around Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Khalil Ware, plus the number 13 pick and a stack of future first-round picks. There was no superstar in this deal. A former All-Star and Hero, some young rookie scale guys, and picks. Miami didn't have a Jaylen Brown to give. They just wanted him. For the first time since the Heat made a trade for Shaquille O'Neal, it seemed like they just wanted this superstar more than anybody else. And honestly, it shocked me because in my lead up to that trade, I said it wouldn't shock me one bit if the Miami Heat somehow found a way to under-negotiate this deal away from them. And it's gone further than just hard conversations. Shams came back with the update, and it's blunt. The Celtics are actively engaged in trade talks around Jaylen Brown with multiple interested teams. This is no longer the Celtics just monitoring Jaylen Brown's value. They're actively engaged with multiple teams, and this is happening in real time.
The Boston Celtics are actively engaged in trade talks surrounding Jaylen Brown with multiple interested teams.
So why did Boston lose with the better player? Well, 2 reasons, and they're both a little embarrassing. The first reason is the Celtics reportedly refused to part with their young guys, Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman, the exact players that Milwaukee wanted, and they wouldn't tack on extra draft capital. And the second reason is while Boston held firm, Miami kept sweetening, bumping their offer up to 3 first-rounders and the swap. So you've got one team treating this like a must-win, and another team negotiating like they had all the time in the world. Guess which one got the 2-time MVP?
The Celtics and Jaylen Brown will have hard conversations moving forward about the fallout from a trade that didn't happen.
But honestly, whether the trade happened or not isn't even the point anymore. Here's the point. The damage is already done. Every front office in the league now knows Boston was willing to ship Jaylen Brown out for the right name. And way more importantly than that, Jaylen Brown knows all of this. He knows he was the chip. One Celtic beat reporter said that this is close to a nightmare scenario because now everybody knows Boston was a Giannis finalist. And Jaylen knows that he was the centerpiece a year after a career best season. You can dangle a guy and pull him back, but you can't make him forget that you dangled him.
This is something the whole league is going to be paying very close attention to, because my understanding is the Celtics are listening to interested teams and offers for Jaylen Brown.
Here's what I need you to understand though. Jaylen Brown getting talked about in trade rumors is not new. This man has heard the whispers before. His name was floated around back in 2018 when he was still coming up. And in 2022, Boston reportedly looked into a Kevin Durant deal that would have involved Jaylen Brown. So if you're sitting there saying, we've seen this movie before, I get it. On the surface, it seems like the same old noise that we see every offseason, but it's not. And here's the difference because it actually matters here. Those other times were just reporters guessing, speculation, smoke with no fire. But this time, it was Boston. The Celtics themselves picked up the phone. They built the offer. They told 29 other teams that we will trade Jaylen Brown for the right player. That's not a rumor that somebody floated on a podcast. That's the front office putting it on record. And you cannot unring that bell. Which is why I actually agree with one of my favorite analysts and a Boston Celtics superfan, Bill Simmons, when he says this.
I'm not convinced he's going to be on the team in October, but I would say it's 50-50.
Think about how the untouchable guys get talked about. Oklahoma City does not shop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Denver does not float Nikola Jokic. The San Antonio Spurs are never going to pick up the phone about Victor Wembanyama. And the Dallas Mavericks would never trade Luka Doncic. Oh, wait. That already happened. But when a team truly believes a guy is the foundation, his name never comes up, period. The fact that Boston was willing to put Jaylen on the table tells you exactly which tier they placed him in. He's not untouchable, and he is tradable. And the timing makes it 10 times worse, because this came right after the best season of basketball of his career. There's a reason why Jaylen Brown said this on Twitch.
This was my favorite season of my career. Like, I would say it even louder. Like, I stand on it, I triple down, quadruple down, whatever y'all want to say, chat.
And look, I know I bagged on him for saying this, and I know it's ridiculous to say this, especially when you blew a 3-1 series lead to the Philadelphia 76ers and you're 2 seasons removed from winning a championship. But we're talking about a guy who just finished 6th in MVP voting and locked down 2nd team All-NBA. He didn't get shopped because he played bad. He got shopped after he played the best season of basketball that he ever has. Imagine finding out that your reward for carrying the franchise for 7 months was finding out that you were trade bait. It's gotta sting. So how do we even get here? What lit the match? Well, you gotta go back to right after the season ended, because Jaylen said something that started this entire avalanche. Boston got bounced in the first round. They blew a 3-1 series lead to the Sixers, and just to twist the knife, Philly turned around and got swept in the very next round. That's the team that Boston couldn't close out. And after a first round exit, Jaylen Brown went on stream and called this his favorite season of his career.
This was my favorite season of my career.
Now you have to understand why this is such a loaded thing to say. This is a guy who won Finals MVP in 2024. He helped raise banner number 18. He's got a championship and a Finals MVP trophy in the building. And the year he calls his favorite is this one, the one where they lost in the first round, the one where Jason Tatum was hurt and Jaylen got to run the whole show by himself. Yeah, a lot of people heard that and read it as exactly what it sounded like. A shot at Jason Tatum. Pretty much saying that I'm happier as the alpha dog than I am being your Robin. And it wasn't just fans reading into it. Seth Greenberg went on ESPN and flat out said that Jaylen put himself on the trading block with how he reacted after that playoff loss. He talked his way into this, and then he doubled down on it. He told everybody to clip it up and said he'd say it even louder, that this was his favorite season and he was standing on it. He's not walking it back, and he's planting a flag on it.
Like, I would say it even louder. Like, I stand on it, I triple down, quadruple down, whatever y'all want me to say, chat.
And that one comment cracked open a question that Boston had buried for almost a decade. Do Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown actually fit together? They've been side by side for 10 years. They made it work. They won a title, but the fit was always a little awkward if you're being honest. Two big wings who both want the ball. Neither one is a true point guard. They were taking turns more than truly playing off of one another. For years, winning papered over it. Then Tatum goes down. Jaylen runs the team solo, drags them to 56 wins and the 2 seed. And suddenly, everybody's asking the thing that nobody was allowed to ask. Are these two actually better apart from one another? So every video that you've seen on this is running the same angle. Poor Jalen, Boston betrayed him, they backstabbed their own star, and look, there's truth in that. But it misses the most interesting part in this entire saga. What if Jaylen Brown is fine with this? What if he actually wants it? This isn't me being contrarian for clicks. This is me reporting. Before the Giannis trade even went down, Brian Windhorst went on First Take and he said something that flew over most people's heads. He said that Jaylen Brown is accepting this, that he sees it as a chance to turn the page in his career, and that being the main guy on his own team is something that he's thought about for some time.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown might not end up in a bad spot here. He might end up with his own team, which seems to be what he wants. In a month, Jaylen Brown might be, chilling in the shade thinking this worked out just fine.
That's not a guy getting blindsided. That's a guy that's been thinking about his exit for longer than anybody else knew. And then look at how Jalen himself is acting. He's not laying low and he's not staying quiet. He went on his Twitch stream while he was literally training with Noah Lyles. He looked dead at the people who want him gone and said this.
For all the people that doubt me, that want me to do this or want me gone or whatever, you're turning me into a monster.
That is not the voice of the man that's begging to stay. That's a guy who's already halfway out the door in his own head and kind of daring Boston to do it to him. So when you put it all together, Wimby saying he wants his own team, Jalen doubling down on the best season of his life, the monster energy, the picture changes completely. This might not be a divorce that one side is fighting. This might be two people who both already know it's over and are just figuring out the paperwork. And the media has already fully decided. I mean, obviously they did because Giannis finally got traded. So what else are they going to talk about now? This whole story has its own gravity now. Bill Simmons isn't convinced that Jalen's even back next year. Stephen A. Smith is in a full-on back and forth with Brown over the favorite season stuff. Chris Broussard's weighing in. The entire NBA talking head ecosystem has collectively made up its mind that this is happening.
I personally do not think they would have entertained this at the end of the season. I'm not convinced he's going to be in the team in October, Barry. I would say it's 50-50.
One of the things we not going to do, bro, is we not going to let you sit around and act like you're a boy. We ain't letting Jaylen Brown get away with that.
I do think they need to try to upgrade. And I do think they have to use Jaylen Brown as the piece to make a huge move.
I don't want to put words in this man's mouth, but let's get one thing straight here. As much as the media already said that Jaylen Brown is gone, sources say that Jaylen Brown has not once gone to Brad Stevens or the Celtics and asked for a trade. Not once. So this isn't Jaylen Brown kicking the door down and demanding out. Sure, he enjoyed being the alpha dog on his own team, but at the same time, he's not the one forcing this. This is Boston deciding that he might be the one who has to go. The push is coming from the team, very similarly to what happened with the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young, and what just happened with LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. Alright, so I set the stage for you guys, so I know what you guys are thinking.
Mike, if Boston does trade Jaylen Brown, what do they want in return?
And the good news is, Brad Stevens already told us, back when they got knocked out, he stood up after that playoff loss and said that they've got to figure out how to have more of an impact at the rim, and that they need to add to the team to do it. And the numbers back up Brad Stevens. Boston finished a brutal 27th in the entire league in points in the paint. And in all 4 of their losses to Philly, they shot under 30% from 3. A jump shooting team that couldn't get to the rim and then went cold. So the blueprint's pretty clear. Turn Jaylen Brown into rim pressure, defense, and young legs. Here's where he could actually end up. Before we get into specific teams, there's one number that you have to keep in the back of your head because it shapes everything. Jaylen Brown makes about $57.1 million next season and roughly $183 million over the next 3 years. He's on a 35% max, the same tier as Jason Tatum. That's a massive number to match in a trade. It's the reason why most of these ESPN trade machine posts that you see on X don't really work. So you need to keep that in mind for every team that I'm about to name. Now, before anyone comments that I'm just spending way too much time on the ESPN trade machine, you gotta know that 2 of these aren't hypothetical. Brett Siegel's reporting that the Rockets and the Pelicans have already had real conversations with Boston about Jaylen Brown. Actual talks, so keep an eye out, because 2 of the teams I'm about to name aren't me guessing, they already picked up the phone. So let's start with the one team where the fit is almost too perfect, and that's the Atlanta Hawks. Here's your homecoming. Jaylen Brown is from Marietta, Georgia. That's a 15-minute drive from downtown Atlanta. This is the kid coming home to be the face of his hometown team. And it's not just a feel-good story. The money actually lines up cleaner here than just about anywhere. The Hawks don't have a single player making more than $30 million next season, which means they can stack a bunch of mid-sized contracts to match Jaylen's giant one without blowing up their entire roster. Guys like Onyeka Okongwu and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are exactly the kind of useful, movable salary that makes a deal like this go. Jalen Johnson would be off the table, but Atlanta's got enough around him to get something done. So what's the catch here? Well, there's two things. The first question is, are the Hawks actually close enough to winning to justify trading for a 29-year-old on a max contract? And two is the chemistry of the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta's roster is viewed as a delicate little machine. A lot of their guys only work in specific lineups. If you start ripping pieces out, you might break the chemistry that made them decent in the first place. It's kind of like what happened to the Memphis Grizzlies once Dylan Brooks left, and then Trey Jones leaves, and then next thing you know, they're trading Desmond Bane for picks, and all of a sudden, John Morant is not the player that he used to be, and then Jaren Jackson Jr. is getting traded, and before you know it, you're in a full-scale rebuild. The dream is perfect. The basketball math is messier than the dream, but if Jalen wants his own team and his hometown, that's a very difficult combo to beat. The next one might be the cleanest basketball fit of them all, and that's the Houston Rockets. Here's the hook. Houston is coached by Ime Udoka. Udoka is the guy who coached Jalen in Boston and took that Celtics team all the way to the 2022 finals. So this would be a reunion with the coach who got the best out of him at a crucial point in his career. Houston's been one of the most talked about Brown suitors for exactly that reason. The tricky part about this is building the actual trade. Amin Thompson is basically untouchable in Houston, and Alperen Şengün isn't really Boston's type. The Celtics like bigs who can shoot and switch on defense, and that's not Şengün's game. Plus, he makes about $23 million less than Jalen, so the money doesn't match cleanly. The other path is building the deal around Kevin Durant, who makes about $44 million next year, which gets you a lot closer to matching Jalen. But the problem here is that KD's 37. He'd help Boston win right now, but he'd shrink their runway very fast. The upside for Houston is they've got a war chest of draft picks to make it work, including control of Phoenix's picks in 2027 and 2029. The fit is real, but the structure is going to take some creativity. And remember what I said up top, this is one of the two teams that's already on the phone with Boston. So Houston isn't a maybe. The Rockets are fully locked in on this. I'm going to throw a crazy scenario at you guys. The San Antonio Spurs. You can take De'Aaron Fox's salary slot and swap it out for Jaylen Brown. This would make the Spurs the scariest team in the NBA. Now you've got Jaylen Brown next to Victor Wembanyama, Dylan Harper, and Stephon Castle. That's a heavyweight title favorite, like immediately. Remember, the Spurs already made it to the finals this year. You had a second-team All-NBA wing to afford that young and that talented, and you might have the most dangerous starting five in basketball. So why isn't this a lock? Well, because the cost would be enormous. Fox is coming off a poor, injury-plagued finals, and at best, he's modest value. So to get Boston to take him back, San Antonio would have to pile on a mountain of draft picks and young players on top of that. Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper are obviously off limits here, but there is a detail in this that makes it work. Brown's contract has 3 years left, which means it expires right before Dylan Harper's rookie extension is going to kick in. The timelines line up beautifully. This is the scariest what if in the entire league right now. There's also the Portland Trailblazers, because they control a bunch of Milwaukee's future first-round picks. They've got young pieces that Boston might like Scoot Henderson, Tumani Kamara, but the catch is the money. Matching Jalen's $57 million while also keeping the cap space they need to extend Denny Avdia down the line is a real puzzle, and it probably is going to take a third team to untangle this. Then there's the Pelicans. The Pelicans have a guy that Boston already likes in Trey Murphy III. He's younger, he's cheaper, he shoots and runs, he fits the timeline better. There's even a world where Zion Williamson becomes Boston's rim pressure answer, and Herb Jones can sneak into the deal as well. Be honest with yourself here. Jalen's a win-now player, and New Orleans is still developing 2 lottery picks. The timelines don't really match. This one only happens if the Pelicans just decide that they want star power and a quick jump in the standings. So go back and look at every package that we just talked about. Atlanta's role players, Houston's picks, a De'Aaron Fox swap, Trey Murphy. You notice what's missing from all of this? A star. There is no superstar coming back in any of these deals because the only superstar on the board this summer was Giannis, and he plays for the Miami Heat now. So if Boston trades Jaylen Brown, what they're really doing is taking one great player and turning him into a pile of good ones. And that is the exact argument for Boston to just not trade Jaylen Brown. Run it back. Get Jason Tatum fully healthy, let him and Jaylen get another crack at it, and fix the roster around the edges with that rim pressure that Stevens talked about. Remember, Boston intentionally reset their cap situation this past season. They ducked under the tax for a reason, and that reason is a real run in 2027. Trading your second best player for spare parts kind of just torches that plan. And for what it's worth, Stevens did say the right things at that podium. He called Jaylen a huge part of the team. He said how valued he's always been, and said, I look at this as our team. So maybe, just maybe, the smartest move here is no move at all. Don't sleep on that outcome. He stays, they hug it out, everybody pretends that June just didn't happen. So when does this actually get decided? Well, here's your date. Jaylen Brown becomes eligible for a contract extension at the end of July. That's the fuse. Either Boston signs into that extension and tells the whole world that he's our guy and this is over, or that date comes and goes with no extension, and the trade talk goes absolutely nuclear. So if you're watching one thing this summer, watch the end of July. And here's the quote that seals it for me. Brian Windhorst said that Boston has apparently decided that Jaylen Brown probably needs to be traded in order for them to be competitive.
Boston has apparently decided that Jaylen Brown probably needs to be traded for them to be, a competitive team.
That's crazy when you think about it. They decided. That's not a we'll see. That's not a we're listening. That's a team that's already made up its mind. Put that next to what Brett Siegel said. Jaylen never asked out. Boston decided this. My take is, I think that Boston made their decision the second they put his name on the table for Giannis. You can't offer a man up to 29 other teams and then sit him down and convince him that he's family. The trust is already cracked. Maybe it's broken. And here's the twist that makes it different from every breakup that we usually cover. I don't think Jaylen's even fighting it. I think a part of him wants out, wants his own team, wants to go prove that the best season of his life wasn't a fluke. So my honest prediction is he's in a different jersey before the season tips off. But I want to hear what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I don't know if you guys saw, the NBA draft just went down. We have a bunch of winners and losers from that, on top of the fact that Giannis got traded to the Heat. I'm going to leave both of those videos in the end screen for you guys to check out, and I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
ここに来るのは初めてです。よろしくお願いします。手の準備はいいですか？あ、そうですか。はい。その中で気を集まれ！神々の像だじゃ！
Every single this man does is for money and views, and the OG YouTubers, they saw it all along. Back in 2024, Dan TDM warned him to stop selling crap to kids who don't know any better. Jacksepticeye backed him, saying Mr. Beast and all his clones were ruining YouTube. And since then, KSI has proved exactly what they were getting at. The biggest YouTubers don't care about their fans anymore, they just see them as customers. So today, we're going to break down exactly how Dan TDM and a couple of other OG YouTubers were completely right about KSI. So let's go back to the 16th of September in 2024. KSI, Logan Paul and Mr. Beast, the three creators currently leading the how much can we sell to our audience race, they dropped their new product, Lunchly, pre-packed kids meal boxes, a direct knockoff of Lunchables but with prime hydration and Feastables and a little bit of moldy cheese. And pretty much immediately the internet looked at it and went, seriously? Because the cracks were visible right from the start. They had this whole healthier marketing claim that it's way better than Lunchables, but if you actually look at the macros and nutrition and the ingredients, it's just a rebranded Lunchable. Sure, it might have an extra gram of protein, but that doesn't really make a difference. And pretty much the whole thing felt like three of the biggest YouTubers on the planet had teamed up to do one thing that nobody really wanted them to do: go even harder at extracting money from kids. And then, in the middle of all this internet noise, one tweet pretty much shut down everything. Dan TDM, one of the OG British Minecraft YouTubers with almost 30 million subscribers, someone who built an entire career on having a genuine relationship with a young audience. He tweeted, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them do better." Now let's talk about KSI's response, because if you're a grown man with 25 million subscribers who's worth literally tens of millions of pounds and the fellow OG YouTuber tweets at you, you'd think a response would be either ignore it and move on, or respond maturely and sensibly, be the bigger person. But this is KSI, so what we actually got instead was a multi-week, multi-platform, completely deranged campaign aimed at dragging Dan through the mud, and somehow making KSI himself look 10 times worse in the process. Let me give you guys a brief breakdown. So firstly, he uploaded a 20-minute video right after Dan tweeted, where he tried to make himself seem like the victim. He didn't explain why the product is good and why Dan is wrong. No, the whole video was just like, oh, everybody hates us now, for no reason.
Looks like crap to me, while showing his toys that he sold to kids. How does this benefit your fans, Dan? Now, obviously, people didn't realize how I was shining a mirror in his face. Instead, they were like,
wait, you did the same as Dan. You made toys with Tube Heroes.
And yes, that's fair, but I'm not the one complaining.
Well, okay then. He was talking about food, not merchandise and toys.
And I'm like, okay, sure. Let's keep moving the goalposts. But okay, did I reply to this? He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what?
Well, you're not the victims. It's because you guys are three very rich YouTubers who just launched a crappy product aimed at kids to extract more and more cash from them. KSI would then try to have a gotcha moment at Dan by digging up an old sponsorship Dan did with Munch Pack, a monthly snack subscription box for kids. But the thing is, Dan did one sponsored video years ago. KSI, he literally co-founded an entire brand with Logan Paul and Mr. Beast that is going to be in stores worldwide. KSI would then start going after Dan's toys, the Tube Hero figures Dan released back in 2014, a small one-off toy line. KSI dunks on them as crap, which, no offense, you sell prime hydration. You're not in a position to be insulting anyone else's product range. Then a tweet which he will shortly delete, KSI called Dan a P-word and says, "Thanks for the free promo." I mean, class behavior from a 31-year-old multi-millionaire. No kids, no family, just pushing 40 and launching Lunchly and selling crap to kids. And we weeks later, KSI is
out, get out.
Hey, man. We were 13 and I left to go home.
How you? Everything good? Yeah, I knew you. Yeah, everything good. How you? How you doing? When you get that boat off? How you doing?
You get one of those, you know, you want to.
It's a big game. We got Jay Will with us and some other big-time names, and we should be good tonight. And hopefully we get this win, and that's all that really matters right now.
Yeah, talk about your routine right now. You still play basketball all the time, right?
I play a little bit, man. I'm getting too old, though, man. I need to get back in shape a little bit.
How did this game come along? Do you know?
I'm not sure, man. I just got asked to play, but just trying to help them out any way we can. Right now, when I get out on the floor, man, I'm just trying to sweat, man, trying to get as many assists as I can. I'm done with all the shooting and stuff.
Talk about Juan as a coach.
Juan just needs to sit his ass over there and be quiet.
You gonna put on a show at all?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna see. It's awful late for me right now.
We're excited to have him out here. It's always fun to be around. As much of a showman as he is on the court, he's even funnier on the bench. So we're in for some fun tonight and can't wait to get started.
From the University of Florida, former NBA star number 8, Jason Williams. A special welcome to former NBA All-Star Jason Williams.
Hey, listen up.
What's up, Nick? Right?
Let's get out. Handle any circumstance, play well, and let's whoop their ass, all right? Let's go. All right, oh, yeah. Be all right out. Hey, you don't have to... Hey, maybe we can get Patrick Ewing to officiate.
ここに来るのは初めてです。よろしくお願いします。口の準備はいいですか？あ、そうですか。はい。そうながれ気を集まれ！神々のそうだじゃ！死ぬまで遊びましょう。
Fanboys. That's the Lakers kicking LeUnc out of Hollywood. They signed Austin Reeves. They still haven't offered LeUnc a contract, and the writing is on the wall. I mean, the Lakers signed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over LeUnc, man. I know when he seen this, he was like,
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
He know it's over in LA, and I hope he take Bronny with him. But Clutch Sports is going into overdrive because now they pretty much begging Pat Riley to bring LeBron to Miami, man. You see how life come full circle sometimes? Sometimes you gotta wait for karma. Karma is not something that happens the next day or the next hour. It might take years sometimes. Y'all remember how LeUnc left Miami? He didn't tell nobody. He didn't even tell his banana boat buddy Dwayne Wade.
And I've heard this criticism of LeBron, that he's calculated, he's measured. He never says anything without it meaning something, and I think that's a fair criticism. He's been pretty calculated. He left Miami, didn't even give D-Wade a call, reportedly it was his guy. I've defended him.
I'm sure you have, Colin. Some of these reporters need to win Defensive Player of the Year the way they defend LeBron. Couldn't defend doing my best friend like this. Remember, they were trying to tell us they best friend. Banana boat buddy. How could you make your best friend lose between $10 to $20 million and not tell him you leaving? That don't sound like a friend to me. How could you be my friend and you watch me give up $20 million? How could you be my best friend and you trade it? How could you be my best friend and you don't come to my Hall of Fame ceremony? I promise you wouldn't be a friend of mine. But now you're begging Pat Riley to come back to Wade County and you're using your minions to do it. Let's start with Brian Windhorst. Look at him talking praise and worship service for Pat Riley.
But I admire the Heat organization so much. And I value the relationships that are created in those years. And I look back and I learned so much covering that team, and I learned so much listening to Pat Riley when he would talk to us, 3 or 4 times a year, or 5 times a year. I learned so much what it meant to cover a team like that. I learned so much about the Heat mentality, which I still have so much admiration for. I learned so much about how they conduct themselves with professionalism in class. I've got nothing but wonderful, positive things to say about what I experienced in Miami. Which, by the way, I think LeBron might feel somewhat the same because he still, mimics some of the stuff that Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra would say.
He could, fanboys. He still mimics the stuff that Pat Riley and Spo would say. I thought he learned the process. I thought he just needed time in the oven to learn the process.
And I didn't win a championship, I believe, until I finally was understanding and had the ability, as far as my capacity, to understand the process, to unlock the process, and then go after it. And just stay that course.
Look at Brian Windhorst over here reading the script. I told y'all, it's the script. He's not the only one saying LeUnc needs to go to Miami. They got Stephen A. too. Stephen A. really must be a fan. I think he a fan. He a fan. I know there's times when he kind of criticized LeBron, but I think those are the times where the check didn't come in on time. You know what I mean? But listen to Stephen A. just acting like LeBron could just force his way to Miami.
If he called Pat Riley and said, listen, I want to come back and join Giannis and Bam in LA. You think Riley's going to tell him no? He ain't going to tell him no. So that's what you have to understand. It's not really concerning to me because it's LeBron and that is his reality. A reality, by the way, he has.
He earned the right to go back to the Heat. It's crazy to think Pat Riley going to welcome LeBron back with open arms. You think Pat Riley gonna allow LeBron to not play defense in Miami? If you know one thing about Pat Riley, we know you don't like to practice. We know you like to go on your 2-week hiatus every year. We know you like to take possessions off. How many times have we seen the Lakers play 4-on-5 on defense. You looking at it right here. Just don't believe in him going back to Miami. They putting all type of crazy words in Pat Riley's mouth. They talking about, well, what if he gets Bronny James? Listen to this shit.
What if LeBron James and Bronny? What if Pat Riley says, well, bring your son. We need athleticism. We need minutes. Bronny improved last year. Say what you want about him. He improved last year. Looked like an NBA bench player. Not a starter, but a bench player. LeBron James has made $581 million playing in the NBA. He doesn't need money. He's a billionaire. What he wants, and he said it multiple times, he wants to play with his son.
Bronny improved to a bench player now. Yeah, all right, man. They gotta knock this shit off. Bronny played every bit of a Shanghai Sharks player. Bronny played every bit of an elite LA Fitness player. He couldn't get minutes in LA. Pat Riley finna give him minutes in Miami.
Stop the cap.
Where is God in these conversations? I need to go to the school of lying these guys go to. Because it's hard to sit up and look at a camera with a straight face and say, yeah, they should get Bronny. You also see how they saying, oh, LeBron doesn't need money. You just said you weren't taking.
Huh? 今から後悔させてやるよ。
誰に言ってるのかって？
お前だよ。お前。さてさてお立ち会い。権限をちょちょっと拝借しまして。ボクシング不可能はない。次のおもちゃ探そう。
見たことないでしょ。
やっちゃうよ。危ないですよ。
見たことないでしょ。
やっちゃうよ。 こに来るのは初めてです。よろしくお願いします。血の準備はいいですか？あ、そうですか。はい。空がれきを集まれ！神々の像だじゃ！次だ死ぬまで遊びましょう。嘘！お前たちなんかおかしくない？まだ生きてるなんて信じられない。でも僕に不可能はない。面黒くない。余裕を見せて何を企む？お前たち初めてじゃないな。なるほど。さては。